The movie begins with Ramona, a widow, recuperating from a car accident that had taken the life of her husband David. Physically disabled now, she remains in a secluded farmhouse along with her 2 children, teen Taylor and tiny Annie. The house is a place of gloom, and Ramona is emotionally disconnected too, finding it hard to connect with her children. The fragile schedule of the family is disrupted when a woman in black and hooded appears in their front lawn, ominously declaring, "Today's the day." Her enigmatic and unusual presence and enigmatic declarations disturb the family, but particularly Ramona, who is increasingly agitated by the woman's familiarity with personal knowledge of the minutiae of their lives. Despite Ramona's best attempts to shield her children, Taylor becomes curious and observes the woman out of the window, disobeying his mother's instructions. Silence in the backyard for hours unsettles Ramona. What used to be filled with the soothing barking of their dog Charlie is now weighed down with silence. She attempts to investigate, cautiously walking out onto the porch and calling the dog. Silence. She grabs the chain end of the dog and tugs, expecting Charlie to struggle back. But the chain sags limp and heavy, dragging on the ground. Before long, it seems to vanish into the ground, as if the dog had been consumed by the very earth itself. Disturbed and confused, she tugs harder, but there's no sign of him. Taylor becomes frustrated inside. He starts bouncing his tennis ball off the wall again and again, just to have something be normal. The relentless thud irritates Ramona, who is already irritable. She can no longer endure it and screams at him to stop. Taylor resists because he has had enough. He tells his mom they have to leave, have to call the neighbors for assistance and the police. But Ramona shoots down the suggestion immediately. She informs him she physically cannot drive, and she won't let him either. She throws his ball outside in frustration, trying to re-establish some measure of control. But the awkwardness grows. Outside, the mysterious woman has crept nearer an hour at a time. She never says a word, only sits silently, staring at the house. As the tension escalates, Ramona is beside herself. In one of her writing lessons with Annie gets irritated when her daughter cannot write the letter R. Ramona gets loud, furious more at the growing fear in her own mind than at her daughter. But catching herself, she softens and apologizes, gently embracing Annie and calming her down. Then Ramona looks into the mirror. Suddenly, there's a vision flash before her, her face frantically stabbing Annie with a kitchen knife. Ramona gasps, and we see she only stabbed a pillow, but the terror is very real, and Taylor, who's standing in the room with her, witnesses what's happening. Suddenly, there's a scream from the kitchen. It's Annie, she walked on broken glass. They rush and pick her up, and Ramona takes her into the other room to retrieve the first aid kit. But Taylor is shaken. What he has just seen, what he has been going through, it's all mounting up. He begins to question whether their mother is going crazy in the head. He then decides to disobey his mother's orders and sneaks outside, hollering for the dog, but there is nothing. He dashes to the garage and hides, seeking a few minutes of solitude. He attempts to start the car, but the engine does not turn over. He observes the mysterious woman from the car, but then she disappears from the chair and he catches a glimpse of her shadow circling the garage. Terrified, Taylor grabs a crowbar and waits, then swings. Only to miss his mother. She screams at him, afraid and angry, to return inside where he will be safe. But as Taylor glances out over the yard again, the woman stands there once more, softly sitting in her chair, with Charlie's tooth on her lap. Meanwhile, tensions inside the house move ever closer to a boil. Ramona explodes at Taylor for venturing outside after all she warned him. But Taylor's had enough. He demands the truth. Who in the world is the woman in their backyard? But Ramona does not answer. Betrayed, Taylor storms off and locks himself in his dad's old office. He roots frantically through all of it, opening drawers and digging through old storage until he finds his dad's shotgun. He loads it with shaking hands. Then, locks his mother in another room to prevent her from intervening. Taylor gets out and carries the gun. He stands firm and commands the woman to leave their land or he will shoot. The woman doesn't flinch. She rises slowly from her seat, removes the veil from before her face, and raises one arm up. And then something extremely creepy happens. Her shadow extends and rings the bells behind him. Then the lady tells Taylor that Ramona has been lying to him, not about her, but about what really happened to his father. Ramona keeps quiet, but hiding time is over. She finally tells him. She and David had gone out for dinner that night. But it failed, over David's idea of moving the family to a secluded area. Ramona felt threatened and trapped. David, not feeling appreciated, tells her that she did all this for them. The debate turned serious. Until they were driving home, Ramona was distracted and upset. She swerved into another car. David died instantly, and it was her fault. She's kept that guilt to herself, in fear of her children hating her if they heard the truth. Elsewhere, Taylor's tennis ball that had been tossed previously is tossed back indoors. Annie stands up to take it, having no idea what is waiting for her. The woman's shadow glides softly across the wall behind her. The woman's shadow bumps a glass jar and crashes. The door slams shut, locking Annie inside. She starts screaming. Taylor bursts in and sees things moving on their own, moved by some sort of invisible energy. He grabs Annie and they dash into the kitchen. Suddenly, there's a flying kitchen knife coming towards Ramona. Taylor grabs the curtain shut, dimming the light, and the knife drops. Taylor has a crucial epiphany: the shadow must have light to move. He acts fast, darts around the house, slamming blinds, covering windows, throwing them into blackness. They dart up to the attic and crouch. A few minutes on, they hear something. Movements in the corner of the attic. Taylor shines the light, but the woman fades. He accidentally drops the torch and the woman appears. Ramona runs at her but misses, as if the woman is a mist. Taylor tries to interfere but is thrown so hard into the wall. The woman moves to Annie. She then buries Annie under her black veil and they disappear. A few seconds later, Ramona returns to Taylor's side, cradling him, and both of them shout for Annie. Suddenly, a weak flickering glow throbs from the adjacent room. They move in its direction. In there, the light grows, a fading signal from another world. Ramona knows what she must do. She approaches it, and finds David. She begins to feel her heart heal and a load lifted off. David tells her that for them to meet up, she needs to let go. But Ramona realizes she is not with David and tries to stand up and leave but is surrounded with a veil. Later on, Ramona opens her eyes and realizes she is now as the woman in the yard. She's sitting in the very same place she had seen the mysterious woman. Throughout the yard, she is seeing herself exit, demanding to know who she is. It all makes sense. The woman in the yard is her. A symbol of guilt, shame and self-hatred. She had created this ghost through her unresolved trauma. Eventually, Ramona finds Annie and gently wakes her. Ramona tells Taylor to get out now, to take Annie with her. Because she understands, the only way to end the woman is to face her. Seconds later, the woman emerges, as tall and frightening as ever. She speaks quietly, practically motherly. She tells Ramona she can end it all, her suffering, her guilt, her failure as a mother, by shooting the gun. That death is the only peace her children will ever have from her mistakes. She places the gun in Ramona's hand and holds her as a child. Ramona thinks of her children and it gives her the resolve to live. Later, she comes outside and Taylor and Annie run into her arms, happy that their mother is alive. Returning toward the house, lights flash, and again, from the bushes, comes their dog Charlie, alive and unhurt. The yard is at last quiet, but this time, it also is peaceful. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time. See you soon.